Welcome into the Sharp Sports YouTube podcast. My name is Andrew Sharp. We'll be talking everything Denver sports and beyond. Please like and subscribe if you are a sports fan like me. Let's do this. Welcome into the Sharp Sports YouTube podcast. My name is Andrew Sharp. Sharp Sports 82 on Twitter as well. The Denver Broncos come away with a key victory at home against Indianapolis Colts this last Sunday and are one step closer to securing their first playoff berth since Super Bowl 50 with a 31-13 win at home against the Colts. Broncos secured their first winning season since Super Bowl 50 in 8 years and now have doubled their projected win total from the Las Vegas spread. I cashed my ticket a long time ago. 5.5 wins was ridiculous when it came out, and it was a complete ridiculous proposition that they were only going to win 5 games. But none of this is to be taken lightly. It's been arguably as bad a stretch of Bronco football, certainly in my lifetime, and you could argue since the 1960s. The Denver Broncos have never been this bad for this long in terms of unsustained success. So, one step closer, and we'll take it. Now, the game itself, not very pretty, but it's been said over and over. I don't like using cliches a lot, but in this instance, it's true. There are more games in the NFL that are lost than are won. And the Indianapolis Colts certainly gave the Denver Broncos every chance to win this game. The Denver Broncos took full advantage of that. And the Broncos have been on the other side of games like this countless times in the last 8 years. So we're finally getting somewhere with that. And the Colts were able to take a pretty good control of the ball game right off the bat. They were on their way to, I would think, would be a pretty easy win on their part. Except their running back, Jonathan Taylor, on a 41-yard run to score a touchdown in the second half. Fumbled the ball. I don't understand this. The only explanation that I've heard that I can think of at all is sort of the drop the mic, drop it like it's hot, sort of I'm on fire type deal, where players think it's real cool to just drop the ball. Well, here's the problem. He dropped the ball at the half-yard line, went out the back of the end zone, and now it's a touchback. It's a 14-point swing because instead of the Colts going up by another touchdown, the Broncos get the ball back and are able to score. So, we'll take it. And by we, I mean the Broncos. Broncos will take it. There's no apologizing for winning. But I'm going to, if I was in a coaching session, I would tell all of my players, this is the Forrest Gump rule. For those who may have not seen Forrest Gump, one of my favorite movies, Forrest Gump is at the University of Alabama. They give him the ball, and he literally runs through the end zone, through the cheerleaders, into the tunnel. Run the touchdown, every touchdown, run into the back of the end zone. Or hand the ball to the official after he signals touchdown. But never, ever, ever take a touchdown for granted. And certainly don't celebrate before you get there. I've seen players back into the end zone. Okay, I guess. I'm okay with it. But this whole dropping the ball can't happen. Jonathan Taylor, very good player for the Indianapolis Colts, owned it after that. But Bronco players were asked later on in subsequent press conferences what they might think might happen to them from the wrath of Sean Payton had they done something like that in the game, and most of them didn't really want to answer the question, and quite frankly, I don't blame them. So, Broncos come away with a win. Really key win, as the Broncos are now sitting at 5-4 in the AFC. Not ideal, but the AFC is harder. And the AFC West is a really difficult division. Chargers lost on Sunday to the Bucks in a game that was competitive for about a half, and then the Bucks blew them out in Los Angeles. Doesn't affect their AFC record, but does put them at 8-6. Broncos have now moved up from the 7th seed to the 6th seed in the AFC playoff standings. Slight advantage there. And the Broncos win at the Bucks, I said in the bye week pod, was the most impressive Bronco win so far, given the time of day that it started, given the Bucks home field advantage. That win's looking better and better. The Broncos went 4-0 against the NFC South this year, which is a natural advantage. Some years you get to play an easy NFC division. Sometimes you get to play a very hard one. If they had to play the NFC North this year with the Vikings, Packers, and Lions, it might be a very different story. But they don't. They get to play the NFC South, a weak division that Sean Payton knows well. Chargers went 3-1 against the NFC North, dropping that key game I just discussed. Chiefs went 4-0 against the NFC South. I think I said NFC North. I meant NFC South. Broncos went 4-0 against the NFC South. Raiders are 0-3 and play the Saints, week 17, super late, and I would be guessing the Raiders are probably going to go 0-4 against the NFC South. So, key win for the Broncos. Broncos are one step closer to securing a highly coveted playoff berth, and we're going to talk about some of the other parts of this game coming up next. Over the course of the 2024 season, I fully expected rookie quarterback Bo Nix to have some ups and downs. This was definitely one of the downs. Granted, he did throw 3 touchdowns, looked very good doing them, also threw 3 interceptions. I think he's trying to force some things. I think he's not always quite as patient as he needs to be. And now, there is what's called the book on Bo Nix. This is where defensive coordinators watch all the tape of all of your plays of all of your games from the entire season that you have done, and they figure out what you're good at, what are your tendencies, what can we force you to do that you don't really like to do. Something that Tim Tebow fans never understood. Well, he won 6 games. Yes, he won 6 games when there was no tape on him, when he was an enigma, when you really didn't know what he was going to do. And on top of that, he got very lucky because the Broncos were playing Super Bowl caliber defense, a defense that would win them the Super Bowl later on with Peyton Manning 5 years later. And so now the book is out on Bo Nix. So now it's going to be on Bo Nix to take that book and adjust. Happens to every quarterback in this league. So you try some things, they try some things, meaning the opposing defense and defensive coordinators, and then you have to readjust. So I will concede that Bo Nix had a very poor game. He's a rookie. He's still a rookie. He is getting better. This was not one of his better performances, but it doesn't seem like some of the mistakes or misreads or problems with plays seem to bother him, which is what I really like. He's still a very good competitor. He doesn't seem, the team obviously believes in him because the guy's never quit playing, and they just keep going. And that's all you can really ask for at this point. Draft and develop, and now we're in the development process, and it's been a little rough, but I still believe in Bo. I think he's definitely the future. And despite some of the numbers, which I suppose we could go over a little bit, things are still looking quite good for the Broncos in this regard. Nix ended up finishing, 20 of 33, 130 yards, 1 sack, 3 touchdowns. The other part that I don't really like, we're back to Bo Nix running the ball. He had 8 rushing attempts for 23 yards. By the way, that leads the team. So he's also doing this with absolutely 0 running. I'm sort of beside myself that this is what the Broncos are going to be this year, a team with no run game, something they're going to have to significantly address in the offseason through, I believe, a little bit on the offensive line. I think it's more on getting a capable back. And speaking of, unfortunately, Jaleel McLaughlin that's been ruled out of the next game. So we're on to Audric Estime or Javonte Williams. It'd be great if either one of those guys would participate in this run game. Marvin Mims did have some very good punt returns in this game, helped quite a bit, especially that key return he had in the second half to really set up the Broncos in good field position. Ended up with 3 returns for about 197 yards. So Marvin Mims is definitely being utilized more. I think as many times as he can touch the ball in a game would be excellent. But we're getting there. We're getting there. Speaking of getting there, Nick Bonito is getting there. He had another game-changing play on Sunday. What appeared to be more of a pick six ended up getting ruled a backwards pass, so more of a fumble, scoop, and score on a trick play the Colts tried to throw back across the field. Bonito read it perfectly, and once he had the ball in his hands, there was no way anyone was going to catch him. As I was talking on the last pod, on the bye week pod, about Nick Bonito possibly winning Defensive Player of the Year, put that out on X. Got a like and a retweet from Denver's own Philip Lindsay of 1043 The Fan. Appreciate it, Phil Lindsay. You're a legend around here. Appreciate the support. Got quite a bit of likes. But we're not wrong. According to, and I have it open right here, according to FanDuel right now, the Broncos have not one but 2 players in the top 3 as betting favorites to win Defensive Player of the Year, only behind Pittsburgh's amazing TJ Watt. Currently, Nick Bonito is actually 3rd behind his teammate Pat Surtain, who is plus 380. Nick Bonito is plus 650. Meaning, they're not the favorites, but to have 2 players, not one, but 2 players who are possibly eligible and certainly have a shot of winning Defensive Player of the Year, that's nuts. I didn't think we would get 2 guys who are having those kinds of seasons. And the reason why it's so important too is that they do different things. Bonito is a pass rusher, disruptor, but has also proven that he can intercept passes. Surtain is your classic shutdown cover corner. He had one so-so game this year. Other than that, he's been rock solid. And Vegas is putting those guys' odds where they're at because they're favored. So, it's pretty crazy to have not one, but 2 guys in the top 3 for Defensive Player of the Year. And just goes to show that this is a team football game. And this defense is proving to be more than capable of getting the Broncos to the 2024 NFL playoffs. Due to some scheduling by the NFL, the Broncos agreed to move their divisional game up with the Los Angeles Chargers in Los Angeles to Thursday instead of Sunday, giving them a little bit of extra time to rest after this divisional game. It was a Sean Payton decision. I understand what he's saying. I understand what he's thinking. I actually think it helps the Broncos a little bit in the sense that this team's hot. This team is hot. They've won 4 straight. And I know that hasn't always looked pretty, and it hasn't always looked quite like we would like it here in Broncos country, but the results speak for themselves. Atlanta, 38-6, non-competitive. At Las Vegas, competitive until it wasn't 29-19. It's hard to win a game in the NFL by 10 points. I don't care how you do it. I really don't. Margin of victory does mean a little something. 41-32 over Cleveland. Wild game. Talked about that quite a bit. And 31-13 over the Indianapolis Colts most season. So Broncos have won every game by a margin of 10 points in the last 4 games. That is not easy to do. I don't care how it happens. You can call it lucky. You can call it a fluke. This is the NFL. It's very hard to win in this league. Ask the Raiders. The Raiders haven't won a game since September. They have not won a game since September. I'll say it again. It's hard to win games in this league. And fortunately for the Broncos, against the Chargers, I think there will be a lot of Bronco fans. Bronco country will represent in Los Angeles on Thursday. Broncos, win, you're in. Take care of business. This Charger team could be real scary in the next couple of years. This Charger team right now, not scary. Justin Herbert is, but the rest of the team is not very good. This team just got whooped at home by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They are there to be had. It's all on the table, Broncos. Go out and get it. This team was picked to win 5 games. I don't get too much into the power polls because I think they're sort of antiquated. And this is not college football. This is the NFL world. I don't really, that's just a personal power poll thing. The Broncos have been low all year. No one cares. Win games. And the Broncos have been doing that. So, take advantage of your opportunity. Win on Thursday in Los Angeles. Get revenge for the Chargers beating you here in Denver. Secure your first playoff spot since the Obama administration. Think about that. And you know what? The other fun thing is, because the Broncos have moved up to the 6th seed now and can secure that 6th seed with a win on Thursday, as of right now, they would play in Pittsburgh against Russell Wilson and the Pittsburgh Steelers. The NFL is dying for this to happen. There is no bigger storyline than the Broncos going to Pittsburgh to play a quarterback they're paying $35 million to not be on the team this year. I can't think of anything I would root for. Must-see TV. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. My name is Andrew Sharp, Sharp Sports 82 YouTube podcast. I appreciate your viewership. I just got a very nice comment from a lady who said she wanted to get a local perspective of the Broncos. And I said, thank you very much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Anyways, we'll be back very soon this week. Broncos play Thursday night in front of the nation. Can't wait. Broncos, secure your destiny. Go win in Los Angeles. Once again, my name is Andrew Sharp, Sharp Sports 82 YouTube podcast. Thanks for tuning in.